You're listening to the Industry Alchemist podcast. The definition of alchemy is a seemingly magical process of transformation or creation. This podcast exists to hear the stories of entrepreneurs, business owners, and leaders doing just that in their industry. We hear about the journey of the brave souls carving a new path, moving their industry and our lives forward in a seemingly magical way. This episode is brought to you by OfficeChief.com. Office Chief exists to make moving your office easy and painless. Moving an office can be a big hassle. On top of running your company, you're thrown into having to figure out what to do. Hire space planners, furniture companies, movers, IT consultants, the list goes on. It only takes 2 minutes to create a profile, and Office Chief gives you a step-by-step action plan and connects you with the top vendors in your market. Moving your office? Log on to OfficeChief.com and make it easy. I'm your host, Matt Brower, co-founder and managing broker of Column Commercial Partners, helping companies save money on their real estate. I'm also founder and CEO of OfficeChief.com, an online resource for businesses moving their office or updating their space.
Hey guys, welcome to the Industry Alchemist podcast. I'm your host, Matt Brower. This episode's guest runs an experiential marketing agency called Pineapple Agency, who's worked with some of the biggest brands we all know, including Under Armour, Live Nation, Adidas, Procter & Gamble, Google, Wrangler, the list goes on, as well as many very well-known musicians and music festivals around the world. After graduating from high school, he dove right into entrepreneurship by helping produce large-scale music festivals, and his businesses and career just took off from there. Appreciate your time, and thanks for being on the show, Justin Moss.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, you and I met through Entrepreneurs Organization back, 5-6 years ago now.
Yeah, God, it's been that long. That's awesome.
Yeah, become good friends. Appreciate your friendship.
Lots of drinking.
Yeah. And I want to start by asking you one question, because I know that, actually, before I ask that, can you explain high-level experiential marketing? That might be a foreign concept for some.
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. So experiential marketing, in my words, is creating a live experience or event that emotionally connects brands to consumers in very emotional ways. So we create immersive experiences, and then we use all sorts of strategies like digital, out of home, social media to engage with the consumer before, during, and after. So what that means is essentially, how do we engage them before the experience, during, and then after, how are we getting them to either buy a product or become a brand ambassador for the brand that we're working with? And this also works in the B2B world as well.
So it's take any kind of action, their experience out, get people, consumers to take some action.
Correct.
After the fact.
Yeah, because what we found in the last many years is that consumers want to be engaged. They want to not be marketed at, they want to market with.
Yeah.
And with the digital revolution and just everybody wanting to experience something one way or another, we have found that if brands connect with a consumer through an experience, it's a lot likely that they become a consumer for life, or a consumer, for a long time, and become a vocal point for that brand.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the COVID world, we're seeing that even more, because now we're all sitting at fucking home doing nothing, and we need experiences.
Yeah, we're dying for them. So I do want to get into how COVID has affected your business, because I know you do a lot of event type work. So I want to get into that a little bit later. But first, I want to start by... Can you remember like the most interesting or like coolest project you have worked on in your career?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it does come up. There's actually two of them, and I'll say the one really quickly. So when I was 21, I produced my first music festival, and it was a 3-day extreme sports music festival. And we were at the very forefront of multi-day music festivals here in America. So we had guys like Stone Temple Pilots and Outkast, and Tony Hawk came in and did a whole extreme sports area. So that was, for me, a pinnacle of my career, but it was just the very beginning. More recently, in the experiential world, we delivered Steph Curry's new sneakers by drones off of yachts in the San Francisco Bay. And we ran a digital scavenger hunt, so you found those landing zones of where those deliveries would be made. at that was a couple of years ago, and it was incredible.
Oh my
incredible.
gosh! Your team thought this up? Did they hire you and go, "Here's what we're kind of looking to do. What do you got?" And you guys thought, "Oh, this would be cool."
Yeah. So we worked with an agency out of California that Under Armour was their client, and the idea came from figuring out a way to disrupt the release of a new shoe or a drop, as they call it. And so we wanted to figure out a way to do that. And at the time, drones were being tested for deliveries, but they weren't being used. And so, as we like to say here, you want to deliver sneakers by drones? Hold my beer. We'll get it done. So we figured out a way to do it, and it was a widely successful campaign. At the time, it was 190 million impressions after it was all said and done. So super exciting. And just, we had never done anything like that before on that scale with drones. So it was hard work trying to navigate it and figure it out, but we did it.
God, I can't imagine how much a project like that costs. I
can't divulge.
But good point. I have to imagine the spend on something like that is massive.
Overall, with the delivery, the technology that was created, the website, the GPS, platform for the gamification,
right?
You were in the seven figures.
Yeah. Wow. We on our team actually the last couple of months in the commercial real estate world, everyone's now working from home. These business owners or everyone's at home. We're actually trying to come up with a way, what can we deliver to our clients and our prospects to help shape the answer of how office space is going to work and look next. So we've been strategizing on that, and maybe we should consult.
I was just getting interviewed. Maybe I'll get a client out of this.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Wow.
Well, yeah. To that point, I think the COVID world, even before COVID, we were looking at we're always looking at how do we engage somebody, whether it's a consumer or in your world, a B2B,
Right. Yeah.
How do we engage them? And so it doesn't always have to be a big, huge event or a big PR stunt. It can be engagements like sending something to their house or what we're doing for a client right now is we're pairing sending something to their house and then an online experience. So we're sending a robe to their house, and they're going to get nice and comfy, and then they're going to enjoy a Saturday Night Live sketch show for their holiday party. So we're doing things like that where we're interacting with them at their home, and then we're tying it back to a digital or virtual platform to keep that going. And we're seeing a lot of that, right? And so to your point, we're doing it and exploring it.
The creativity is incredible.
Thank you.
I love it. I actually got my degree.
It's not all me. I got a team.
Yeah, you have an awesome team. I've met several of them.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I got my degree in marketing, and it was years ago. I don't even know how it works these days, but it's good to hear kind of some of the latest.
Yeah, full transparency. I didn't graduate college. I dropped out, and I started in the music business. So I started producing concerts, music. My real start is I started producing raves in high school.
Okay.
And so I never knew about marketing, and I knew how to promote a show or build a show. And I didn't get into experiential until 2007, 8-ish, when I was approached. I met two guys from Google, and they had approached us later on. I didn't even know they were from Google, to be honest. Yeah. And they had asked us to work on the Democratic National Convention with their partnership with them and Barack Obama. And so we worked on it, and that's when it kind of hit me. Sort of experiences are going to be the wave and the next part of marketing. And so I think that's what got me excited, because I know how to build a city in the middle of nowhere for thousands of people for a music festival, but it wasn't until thinking through experiences that really sort of forayed me into experiential marketing.
So when did you officially start Pineapple Agency?
Pineapple Agency was born in 2014. It was born after I had exited another experiential agency that I had started with some partners that is no longer around today. So it wasn't this big, huge, amazing exit. It was basically me leaving and the company folding after other partners left earlier. Yeah. So, it started in 2014. And the idea was that I wanted to do obviously a lot more in experiential and trade show experiences, But I really wanted to get back into the music industry and music festivals because I absolutely have a huge passion for music festivals. And so the Pineapple Agency was created to become, a force in both industries.
Right. I also have a passion for music festivals. Very different way. I like to attend them. But
I know. You've attended some of ours.
That's right. Thank you for that. No. Oh, that's great. And so talk to me about where Pineapple came from, Pineapple Agency.
Yeah. So
Probably get that question a lot.
I do. And the answer isn't that good. I mean, there's two stories. There's a really long story that can't be done on this podcast, and it has to be done over beer. So maybe round 2 podcast.
Round 2, okay.
But essentially, like what I loved about the Pineapple is one, it was the international sign of welcome and hospitality. So, even though we're not a catering company or a hotel, hospitality, we're still in that sort of event space.
Yeah.
But 2, I always found it to be this ugly, crazy fruit on the outside, but delicious and fruity on the inside. And that's sort of how my brain works, right? Like I'm crazy. This is what you get. I mean, I'm the real thing, right? I curse. I have a potty mouth. I don't care. So that's me on the outside, right?
One of the reasons I love you, by the way.
But be honest with you, like I that's like on the inside, like I'm loyal, I'm nice, I'm sweet, but we're creative, and my team is crazy too. Like we're fun, crazy, we work hard, we play hard, and so that's how I kind of relate the Pineapple to.
Yeah. Oh, cool. And I want to bring up too, because I just actually came across the photos from it 2 days ago. You know how Google reminds you sometimes, like, what were you doing a year ago? The photos of when I was Bud Light Night. And
that was awesome.
But a year, I don't know, last
football season.
Yeah, last football season.
Yeah.
Spent a day as Bud Light Night for you guys.
That was so fun.
Got carted around in a limo and just had an entourage, which was a large part of your team. Got to work with you guys. It was so much fun.
Yeah, you should put some of those pictures on your podcast website so people can see.
That's a good idea.
It was a great campaign, and you stepped in last minute, you know, because they can't. The guy that was supposed to do it, they sent the wrong suit to us from their other agency, and you needed somebody 6 foot or taller, I think it was, and I was like, who the hell do I know that's 6 foot? I'm like, Matt. And you wanted somebody somewhat like, built and in shape. Like I'm fat and small, so I couldn't do it. And Matt's like 6 foot plus, and he's built and he's good looking. And yes, I'm okay with my manlyhood. And he worked out great.
Oh, thanks for the compliment. That was a blast. I'll do it again anytime you guys want. Oh, that's great. So let's dive into kind of what we alluded to earlier. I know that the events side of your business, it's not all you do, but talk about, you put out, kind of in the beginning of quarantine, you put out an email to your network that I thought was one of the most eloquent, intelligent, articulate, like outlooks or perspectives on your industry.
Yeah.
And it kind of goes against how the rest of your industry and is kind of seeing this and what the future looks like. Can you talk about like what you guys are going through in that regard, and then I want to get into what's next for you guys.
Yeah, so that was my Jerry Maguire moment. Luckily, I own the company, so they didn't fire me. But essentially, then and now. So let me just back up for a second and say that I always and still do believe what the virus is and how hard it is and how bad it is health-wise.
Yeah.
Never took that for granted at all.
Yeah.
I think early on I took for granted what it was going to do to my industry, our industry, and the world, obviously. So that was early on, but once I started kind of seeing the writing on the wall, we had clients canceling, immediately. We had festivals that we had to, immediately cancel. I wrote a letter and it was basically just saying like, listen, I understand that this world is changing right now, and that I understand that the need for shifting or pivot, which I actually hate the word pivot, but shifting to digital and trade shows digital and music festivals digital and all this. But what I was getting so frustrated about is that everybody was shifting. And when you started having brands start saying, there was one particular brand, which I'm not going to mention, but they mentioned, oh, we're not going to have any live events for our consumers or our employees until 2021. Now, this was very early on. This was like February, March.
Yeah.
Or March, April. I was like, how could you do that? Like, why would you say that right now? Like, let's see
This
how
just started.
Just starting.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's irresponsible because now you're causing a stir. I mean, this is one of the biggest tech companies in the world, and they're
Yeah.
causing a stir. And so my letter was basically saying, listen, I know we have to do things differently now.
Yeah.
But don't say the event experiential agency is changing forever. Like, humans need interaction. We need events. We need live shows. We need concerts. We may not need trade shows. I mean, that's just a fucking drunk fest. But
Yeah.
clients don't listen to me.
Yeah.
Build your trade show booth. But humans need interactions, right? And we want them. And
Yeah.
so for everybody to just start saying everything's going to be virtual for here on out,
Yeah.
to me was just very scary and very insensitive and just really stupid, So that was what the letter was about. And so today, yes, as an agency, as a business owner, we are doing virtual stuff. We like to do more hybrid stuff like we were talking about earlier, where it's virtual and some sort of experience. But at the end of the day, we are adhering to our brand clients and our consumers that, some of our clients they want to just not do anything, in person, no events, whatever. So we are looking at the hybrid situation if we can. But I would say it's been a very tough 8 months. I think we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see clients wanting to do things, talk to us about doing things. I think part of that is they know that if they don't start planning now for 2021, they're going to be rushing. They're not going to be able to do anything. And I think everybody knows in their heart that you have to do experiential marketing these days.
Yeah.
You just have to.
Yeah.
If you combine it with digital, great. Or most experiences that we produce are some form of digital, but they know they have to get things going. I think the big difference too, and not to get into any politics, but now that the election is over,
Yeah.
now that, Pfizer says that there's a vaccine coming, I think we're starting to have those conversations where there's a little bit of a sigh of deep breath and saying, okay,
Yeah.
we could get back to experiences. But let's not forget, we are still doing things in a very COVID safe world. So, our festivals, we're looking at, a two process testing situation.
As they enter. Yeah.
Sending a test kit to their house, upping our health and safety protocol, whether that's sanitary or what. So definitely for the foreseeable future, we're going to be in that situation. Yeah, I mean, the events industry will come back. And in fact, all the data points point to it's going to come back even faster and harder than it was in the last few years.
Because there's so much pent-up energy
So
for
much
it.
pent-up demand.
Yeah.
Live Nation, who you mentioned is one of my clients, they did a report early on in COVID, and it's published now. But and don't quote me on the numbers, but I believe it was like 83% of the people had kept their tickets. For concerts
events
and
that just got
festivals.
postponed.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And then like the brand that I work with is Insomniac Festivals. We've once again, don't quote me on the numbers because we're not on that side, but we've released tickets to 5 major festivals, one of them being 170,000 people a day, and it
Wow.
sold out within 24 hours.
You're kidding. Wow.
So
That's awesome.
It's going to come back.
It
I think
will.
It's got to.
Because I think you're exactly right. We humans just strive for interaction, connection, experiences. This is not going away. So that's good. It's encouraging to hear that it's actually coming back quicker than.
Yeah. I'm excited. I mean, I think we're dealing with a lot of crap. I think a lot of my friends or colleagues, I've seen a lot of businesses go out of business. I think if there's not some sort of government help, both federally and locally, I think you're going to see a lot more event industries going out of business. There's a movement right now to it's called Save Our Stages, saving some of these smaller music venues that rely on doing shows and beer and liquor sales and small food. And, a lot of these, these legendary venues that launched the careers of Elton John to the Beatles to, whatever, they're not going to be around if they don't get some sort of help.
Oh man, that's tragic. We have some nice historical theaters here.
Yeah.
Here in Denver.
Yeah.
That's cool. So so it hasn't. I mean, I'm sure it has had some impact on your business, but you're actually seeing that activity is coming back very quickly. So you guys are.
Yeah.
Sounds like pretty solid then.
Yeah, I mean, I've had to I laid people off early on.
Yeah.
My team has been absolutely incredible. They took pay cuts. We cut costs everywhere we can. We rented out space in our office to another agency to try to just make ends meet. I mean, we haven't had real revenue since March, and we've had millions of dollars in contracts canceled. At this point, every dollar that I'm spending to stay open is my own. So we were having a record year, and now we're fighting to. I mean, I wouldn't say we're fighting to keep the doors open because we're in a great position, but cash wise, but we definitely are going to need to see some hits here soon.
Yeah. So thinking of like on the experiential marketing side, or the the festival and the event side. Who's the perfect client for you of the listeners of this podcast? If anyone has a company or runs an event or something like that, who should reach out to you for help on creating that experience, getting people in, creating that momentum?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I think for us, we have a COVID perfect client, and then we have added COVID perfect client. I mean, I think for us, we're just very passionate about what we do. We're very passionate about creating that experience, creating that memorable moment. And so like right now we're doing a lot of holiday parties, for brands, some big brands, whether it's for their employees or for their consumers, a lot of employee driven stuff right now. So the perfect client for us is really a client that either wants to be educated or understands how important the experience is to a human and how it can help them either, sell product or services, or in this, in a stakeholder case, how you can, have a holiday party in a safe COVID world.
Yeah.
There is, I mean, we do tend to have a level of client we like to work with, but we also are believers in true partnerships with our clients. So we do put skin in the game for, startups that, need some help. And then of course, once again, COVID. So a lot of people need help. So we want to help whoever we can, but as a business, we do have to be careful. It is time intensive to produce these things and create these things.
Yeah.
I don't know if that answered the question or.
No, it does. It does. You mentioned a certain level of client, but I would imagine that means like size or revenue or spend wise.
Spend wise. Yeah.
But in the midst of kind of what's going on, everyone needs help, and you're here to help is what I heard.
Absolutely. We're here to help, and it would help us too, right? Because at this point, I'm not looking to make any money, profit wise until probably late 2021, maybe sooner if things turn fast. But at this point, I just want to keep people working.
Yeah.
If I could keep my employees working, and we hire a ton of freelancers, contract designers, contract producers, contract fabricators aside from what we do in house. So if I could keep people working and have them keep their people working, then it's a win for not only me, but for humanity in Colorado,
Exactly.
I mean, we need to keep people working.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be that'll be nice once we're all back to work.
yeah. And we will be. I mean, I think like I said, we're getting there.
Yeah, I actually gave a presentation on kind of the commercial real estate industry, jobs market a few days ago, and it is looking like the number of unemployment claims are decreasing quite a bit. So hopefully that trend continues. We'll see what this second wave of COVID is going to do to everything. Hopefully that's hopefully Pfizer and whatever they're working on.
And the Pfizer thing is great. I don't know if you've read anything about like how they have to. It has to be freezing cold to distribute it. They have to distribute, I think it's got to be 60-70% of the population needs it in order for it to kind of herd mentality or immunity. But it needs to be freezing. You need 2 doses. So they're going to set up, I read this, I don't know if it's true or not, so don't take for gospel, but they're setting up like these giant solar freezers around the country to, get these distributed until they need to be used. I mean, look, I don't want to get dark, but there is going to be a second wave. I mean, we're already seeing it.
Already seeing it, yeah.
It's how we handle it as a country. Wear your masks, people. Like, that's all you need to do. Wear your masks. But with that being said, I do believe unemployment's going to go up once they do a relief bill, because I think a lot of people filed for unemployment and then they just said, the state's not giving me enough to even keep up with the paperwork. But once they get that $400 to $600 federal incentive, I think it's going to go back up, which, by the way, I'm for the federal incentive. I think that we need all the help we can get.
Absolutely.
And it boosts the economy no matter how you look at it. But the one thing I will say is what I keep in the back of my mind about all this is, and the CEO of Apple, Tim Cook, he said this on a podcast very early on. And I'm not going to say it as elegantly as he is, because he's much smarter than me. But, you got to remember that the 35, 40 million people that were out of work at its highest, there's still 185 million Americans plus that are working,
right.
And so they're spending money. They're still out doing things. And then you got to remember the pent up demand of not spending money for those 3-4 months that, we couldn't go to restaurants. We couldn't do stuff. So then you started seeing the V economy kind of start playing in, where people are going out, they're spending lots of money. And I think once we're through this, or the vaccine is even more distributed and we see more people going, you're going to see all that pent up demand go to food and restaurants and movies and travel and all that. So I think we're in very dark days now, and we're starting to see the light, but I think it's going to shoot up very quick, very fast.
Yeah, let's just hope the restaurants that are still open can sustain long enough for that to happen.
My heart's with those guys and girls,
man.
because it's we both have a lot of friends, right?
Yeah.
In the industry, just in Colorado,
Right.
that own restaurants, and one of our mutual friends has done really well in the shift on how he's done a lot of deliveries and stuff, but
Yep.
a lot of people lost their jobs, a lot, waiters, servers, I always used to say, because I was a bartender years ago, I used to always say, and a waiter, I used to always say, in America, you should work in a restaurant once in your life.
Once in your
life.
life.
It should be mandated.
Yeah.
So what these men and women go through to serve you your fucking hamburger. And you bitch about the no pickles and you got pickles. Dude, shut up and tip 25%, especially now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, now is the time to tip.
Absolutely.
Way more.
Way more.
Yeah.
Way more.
Yeah.
Look, we have first responders as family members, but I give every bit of the first responder love to kitchen, restaurant workers, because they are literally risking their life to serve you a cheeseburger.
Good point. Yeah. Or your Chick-fil-A or your cocktail or
any
whatever.
Of them. Any of them. Look, you can be as safe as you can, and I know all these restaurants are protocol, but at the end of the day, all it takes is one slip up or one idiot that's not wearing their mask that comes in even though he's kicked out of the restaurant, but he now infects the rest. Who knows? But these people are going to work every single day to make money, but to serve your cheeseburger.
Yeah. Well, I want to shift to you more on a personal level. You clearly bring a ton of energy to everything you do. You work in a just high energy environment all the time, implementing the things that you and your team create. And I've seen it live. I've seen you in action. Do you, when you're at home, how are you? Do you recluse sometimes? You just want to not be around people, or you just?
I'm always high energy.
Yeah.
I'm always gotta keep busy.
Yeah.
I always gotta be doing something. I do have little things that I do that I like. I'm not much of a by myself type of person, so I do always even if I'm in my car, I'll call somebody to talk. I talk to my brother a lot, so me and my brother talk probably every day.
Oh, cool.
And I guess my avenue of staying busy is sometimes talking to people. But one of my big things that I love to do, and because of COVID I haven't, is I love to go out to dinner by myself. So I love to go to a restaurant and sit at the bar or sit at a table and just relax. I shut my phone off. I eat my meal. Usually it's during sporting season, like watching football, and just I'll talk to the bartender, I'll talk to people, but that's sort of a way that I do calm down a little bit. And I travel a lot. So I travel, you know, in 2020, I traveled 40 times was my,
This year?
in 2019.
Okay.
2019, I took my 40th flight, you know, by the time, you know, March came around.
Right. Yeah.
And so when I work festivals, you know, we're, you know, like one of our biggest festivals, Electric Daisy Carnival in Vegas, we're working for 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks. And it's, you know, 12, 15-hour days. And then the festival is
gosh.
from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. So for those 3 days,
For 3 nights, for 3 days in a row. Yeah.
So one of the things I do when I travel is I do like just shut everything down in my hotel room, and that's like I'll stay an extra day or so in the city that I'm in and do nothing. I'll order room
Deload.
service and just shut down.
Yeah.
But overall, no, I'm a workaholic. I work 7 days a week. My phone is always on. I'm always doing something. And I've been like this since I, you know, started my first business at 10 years old.
That's cool, man. That's why you've been so successful, probably.
That's what they say. I mean, I definitely think that there's something to, and you mentioned EO earlier. I think what I'm learning a lot, like through like EO education and like mentors and just peers, is that I used to always believe that work. If you don't work 80 hours a week, you're not working. You're not getting anything done.
Right.
And the truth is, now I'm starting to take it back a little bit and say, all right, well, am I really being effective in that, you know, 60th hour, you know, to 80, you know? So now I'm trying to be a little bit more smarter and work a little bit smarter and take more deep breaths. But as far as like energy, no, I'm always there. Always on.
Yeah, you know, that's one big thing I got out of EO. I was brought up in the same way. I'm in a service business. It's me. The brand is me. So I'm building this business around me.
Yeah.
And if you have a business that you can't remove yourself from at some point whenever you want to,
Yeah.
like what is there? Like how sustainable
Exactly.
is that?
What
right?
does it become? Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's a very big thing I got out of EO and my time there was creating a system, not necessarily a business, but a system that operates outside of me is really the magic.
and that's what we're trying to do here. I mean, like I said, I have the most amazing team in the world, and I've been lucky for that, and even past employees have been amazing. But one of the things that I've been really focused on is getting myself out of everything, like being involved in everything. As much as I love going to Office Depot and roll around the cart and buy office supplies because it's kind of like my restaurant thing, right? I'm alone, I'm buying shit, I'm enjoying it. I shouldn't be, not because I'm too big for it, because I will mop the floor, I will jump on a ladder, I will do what I need to do. But how valuable is my time? You know, what can I be doing for my employees or for the growth of my company when I'm not at Office Depot shopping for office supplies?
Exactly.
So to your point, trying to figure out those systems and processes.
Yeah, maximize everyone's efficiency.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So just to cap things off here, ask you few rapid fire questions.
Uh-oh. You said I was going to cry, and I haven't cried yet. So is this where
We haven't gone there. No. This is that part. No. No, we were talking about that show, Jerry Maguire, and how, what's his name? Cuba Gooding Jr. didn't want to cry in that show.
Yeah.
Before we hit
and then he cried at the end.
He cried at the end. It was amazing. So do you have any kind of morning routine or any, maybe not morning, any time of day, that time you spend on yourself to keep you effective and in action and that sort of thing? Yeah.
So once again, pre-COVID, I did. I was exercising. One of my favorite things to do is walk my dogs. It sort of grounds me. I walk them. I listen to podcasts. I walk around the neighborhood. And we just moved to the city now, so we're not in the suburbs. So there's a lot more things to see. But for me, the biggest thing is I like to do things with my hands. So like when I want to decompress, you'll find me walking in the warehouse, building something or fixing something. Matter of fact, you all listening can't see, but there's a pile of rubber on the floor in the front lobby of my office, and that's because I ripped out all the window weather stripping yesterday, and I bought new weather stripping, and I'm replacing it. And so it's things like that like forget about the whole working in your business, and I got the whole Office Depot comment, but I do like to do things with my hands to kind of ground me and keep me busy.
Yeah.
I always say I'm the head janitor as well as the CEO.
Yeah.
And then what was the other? There was two parts of that question, wasn't there?
Yeah, just like a routine.
Oh yeah. So that's that. So pre-COVID, I did a lot of that stuff. COVID, I just get drunk because I'm a definitely COVID alcoholic. But no, in all seriousness, that's really it. That's that. I don't really have like a routine.
Yeah.
We do the morning.
Cool.
We do a morning huddle here at the office
Every morning.
Well,
when you
before
come in.
COVID.
Yeah, when you come in.
When
the
we come
office.
in before COVID.
That's cool.
So we do stuff like that. Honestly, I'm better at implementing things for my team as routine. But anybody that really knows me knows that I constantly live in a world and work in a world of chaos. But the chaos is I know the chaos. So like my desk is messy as hell, but I somehow know where everything is.
Yeah.
I wish I could examine my brain and see, because like I'm like a squirrel. Like I think about 1,000 things all the time, but somehow it's there. Like, and I remember it. It's.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. You remember where you put something in all the chaos. That's cool.
I have a really good. I'll never remember your name, but I remember your face, and I'll remember where I put a piece of paper underneath. But I won't remember where my car keys are. So like simple things I don't know, but when it comes to the business, I remember.
You got
it's
it.
Weird, yeah.
How about any people, whether living or dead, that have been super impactful to you and who you are today?
Yeah.
Anyone you'd consider a hero?
Well, my mom and dad, my dad has been self-employed. He still owns his business today. He's 75. We're actually working on selling it. He taught me how to be a salesman. He taught me how to be a talker. My mom taught me how to be, well, she's a little crazy as I am, but she taught me how to sort of navigate people a little bit, and understand
personalities.
And that was my dad too. My dad I'm definitely his son, like no doubt. But like one of the things my mom used to always say to me, and I actually just said this to somebody the other day, is, this is probably for the next podcast, but like the way I got into the music business and some of my teenage years, I got into a lot of trouble and did some things, which I love it. It made me who I am. But anyway, she used to always say, if Matt drives you and you're in the car and you go to a bank and Matt runs in and robs the bank and you were inside, drinking or in the car drinking a milkshake, and the cops come, you're going to go to jail. So you always got to know your friends and
who's your
associates with. And just because you didn't do anything, because of association, you're probably going to go to jail, you know? And so that was one thing that always stuck with me.
But what did she say when then you said, but Mom, I'm that guy?
No,
in the bank.
It's funny. I used to always say to her, Mom, you have no idea what I didn't get caught for. She used to always say, you get caught for everything. No, you have no idea. But my mom and dad, and then, I think, as well, my brother, I think he has a successful business in Florida. He's had some challenging times. But as far as like I've had mentors, I've had coaches. The person that actually got me into the music industry was my Aunt Debbie, my mom's twin sister, who is no longer with us. She died of cancer 2 days after I got married to Stacy. But I'm very close with her son, Sam. But so she used to go on this women's trip. She was a teacher for special needs children in New York City. And so she went to Europe. Every year she'd go on this girls' trip with her friends. So she went to Europe one year, and she went into a record store, and she asked whoever it was and said, hey, I have I think I was 14 at the time, a 14-year-old nephew, and what kind of music would he want to listen to?
Yeah.
And so she brought home a DJ named Paul Oakenfold.
Oh man.
And yeah. And,
old school.
I
love it.
And I think the album was called Perfecto. And I had not listened to techno at that time. I mean, I was 14, And so I got the record or CD, fell in love with the music. It was a time in my life that I was a little bit in transition. So quickly I discovered raves. And once again, that's for a whole nother podcast. There are other podcasts that I've discussed this in length. So they're like Mark Gutman, his podcast.
Oh, yeah.
You could listen to some of that. Or
Yeah, the
I'd come back
storytelling.
on yours.
Yeah.
But
Part
anyway,
2 coming up.
round 2. Yeah. Suspense.
That's the one you'll cry on.
Yeah, absolutely. But anyway, long story long, it was because of that found my love of raves and then found my love of the music industry. And just so
Cool.
I credit her for introducing me to that music.
And Debbie.
Aunt Debbie.
Nice.
Yeah.
Last question, and I've already heard a couple, so we'll see what you say here. What would you consider your superpower to be?
I think it's twofold. I think it's a few. I think the creativity, being able to create something out of thin air, whether it's an event or even just in my personal life. I think the ability to bring people together and be able to bring the right people together to execute. And then the third is, I think, my ability to relate, and just be who I am and bring what I think is the best out of people.
Yeah. Bring your full self and be able to vibe with anyone.
Yeah. I mean, and like I said, this is who I am. I really don't dumb it down. I think with my personal life, my friends know me for who I am, and they're my friends. In my business life, my clients, if you don't want to work with me, then maybe I don't want to work with you. Like I think you have to, this is who we are, and that's how I built the culture. And same thing with the employees. I think I'm compassionate and I don't always curse, but I think that you have to be real in this world.
Yeah, you really do.
But I think you need to have empathy and compassion and, at the same time. Like I can't just say fuck everybody, but at the end of the day, you either want to be my friend or not.
Yeah, that's cool. It's a very free way to live life.
Yeah, and I almost cried right there because I was like, oh my God, I don't have that many friends anymore. Matt,
Dang, I almost got you. No. That's great, man. This was fun. I appreciate the time in this conversation.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Too bad these things are so short, but I mean, I'm happy to come on again, or maybe one day I'll start my podcast. And
Yes.
That's not a trail teaser, but who knows, maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
No, but I'd love to do it again. But either way, we're friends, so we're gonna have
Yeah,
beers again,
exactly.
so.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks again, and I'll let you get back to it.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Pineapple Agency, Denver, Colorado.
That's right.